What's up, everyone? My name is Alivia Brown and I am currently a senior at UCLA studying anthropology. And if you clicked on this video, that probably means you want to know what kinds of classes you could be taking as an anthropology student in college. So without further ado, I just want to jump right into it and tell you guys exactly what classes that I am taking right now. Now, I don't think I've ever actually had a quarter that so perfectly represents my interests as an anthropology student. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, anthropology actually has 4 main disciplines. These disciplines are culture, biology, linguistics, and archaeology. And throughout my time as a student at UCLA, I have taken classes in all of them. So if you're interested in checking out any of those classes or videos that I've made about those classes, I will link one right here and then link the rest down below, so you can get a really good taste of the variety of anthropology classes that do get offered in college. Okay, so the first class that I'm going to be talking about that I'm taking this quarter and I'm really excited about is called Anthropology 126N, Genes, Disease, and Culture. Now, as an anthropology student, I often feel that cultural evolution and biological evolution often get taught very separately, and they exist in these two very discrete buckets, when in reality, cultural evolution and biological evolution actually have a lot to do with one another and impact one another immensely. Now, this course is a really cool exploration of how genes and culture actually interact with one another and how this interaction actually can have really unique outcomes. And of course, as you guys saw in the title of this class, one piece of this is disease, so how genes and culture can interact with one another with disease as the outcome. And I just think that is so fascinating, and to take something that often is so explicitly social science or so explicitly STEM and to put them together in a class is amazing, and they will always be interacting with one another. And yes, I just love this class so much, and I cannot wait to see what the rest of the quarter has in store. Now, this class, you guys, I've never seen a class titled something so cool in my entire life. I am honestly more excited to say the title of this class than I am to even dive into it, but I love the class too. So yes, this class is called, it's long, so just brace yourself. It's called Anthropology 129, Selected Topics in Biological Anthropology, Mother Nature, Father Time, and Evolutionary Perspective on Parenting. I mean, guys, like, how cool is that? Oh, there's a helicopter. The class is so interesting, and I feel like often when you take courses in evolutionary biology and biological anthropology, it's really easy to look at biological processes like natural selection in simplest terms, or how they most obviously impact a population. But to dive into the specific facet of evolutionary theory, like putting it in the context of parenting, is a really, really interesting approach. And I feel like the only way I can really convey the themes of this class well to you guys is to actually provide an example. Now, in the first part of this course, we've really taken a look at miscarriage and pregnancy and how these experiences actually happen. And so one example of like an evolutionary question that you could ask about these things is, why do women get morning sickness when they're pregnant? I mean, it's obviously a really uncomfortable experience to feel nauseous all the time throughout. It's like 3 months, it's your first trimester that you experience this. And so evolutionary biologists go in there and ask, well, why is this something that women have to experience? And there's a few different theories, but one of the main ones is that to have a sensitivity to the food that you're eating during pregnancy is actually a really advantageous strategy, because everything that you eat as the mother has an impact on the fetus, right? And so if you have an aversion to certain foods that might actually have pathogens in them, like certain meats or certain vegetables, you not wanting to digest that food is actually a really good strategy for you and your child. So then taking it even further with the whole reproductive perspective, right? Your fitness has a lot to do with how many offspring you have. And so if you're protecting your child and you're protecting you, then this actually becomes a really good strategy. And all of a sudden we have this really cool possibility to understanding morning sickness. And I know that's a really niche example, but I think it does a really great job actually conveying the themes of this course. Like, you're not just looking at natural selection in this very big picture way. You're taking it as far as you possibly can and connecting it to the real experiences and lives of women and parents all around the world, which is just, I'm obsessed. Now, the third and final class that I am taking is called Anthropology 191 HD, Writing for Anthropology. And if you are a returning viewer to my videos, you probably have heard me talk about this class before, but I'm going to talk about it here again, and I'm actually going to take it a little bit further, give you guys a little bit more detail, provide some more details than I have in the past. So yes. Now at UCLA, there's this really amazing program called the UCLA Lemelson Anthropological Honors Program. Again, a mouthful, but what you gonna do? And every year, the UCLA Anthropology department selects 12-ish students to basically become their research scholars, and each of these students gets their research proposal that you submit, that's like your application, fully funded. And to have the opportunity to get that kind of funding and to see your research all the way through as an undergraduate student is just next level. Like, you don't really see that very often. At least I haven't seen that very often as an undergrad. And I was lucky enough to be selected to be a part of this program. And once you get admitted during your junior year, you take a class with this program every single quarter until you graduate. And each quarter is actually focused on a different part of the research process. So the first quarter, if I remember correctly, it's been so long now, you do a really deep literature review. So making sure that you're really knowledgeable on the literature that's available that has to do with your question and what you want to be researching. So when you actually conduct the research, you know everything that you need to know. Now, maybe I made this clear already, maybe I didn't, but something that I absolutely love about this program is each student is actually exploring a different question. So it's like you get your question funded and you get to see your question all the way through. So my question, my research project is very different from that of those in the cohort. So my project is actually a biological anthropology project. The others in the program are archaeology related, linguistics related, culture related, sociocultural. I mean, the people's projects are amazing. And so this quarter is the second to last quarter of the program, which means things are ramping up. And the data collection, all these things that go into the research process are done. And we actually have to write a thesis, and I believe it's either 20 pages or 30 pages, I don't remember. Maybe it's a coping mechanism to block out the fact that I have to write a paper that long. But we actually have to write the thesis this quarter, and it's gonna be a wild ride. And so each week throughout this quarter, we are working on a different part of that paper, whether that's the abstract, the introduction, the literature review, the question, the methods, the conclusions, discussion, all that stuff. And I feel so lucky to have been a part of this program, and one day I will be able to share my research with you guys, but because it's still in its creation, it's actually really delicate, and you don't want to share what you're exploring with the public, so to speak, until it's already been done, because you don't want anything to get changed. So you guys can continue to look forward to that in the future. But the reason that I bring this up and talk about this in so much detail is because I really do think that you guys should always be looking for different research opportunities if that's something that interests you, and just go for it. This is a program that I didn't know if I could get into. I had a lot of doubts, and when I did get in, it was just so exciting, and I was so happy that I went for it. And so I just wanted to throw that in here and say, if there's any program like this, whether or not it's research, I mean, it could be anything, just go for it. Just push yourself, and the worst thing that could happen is you end up exactly where you are right now. So yes, those are the 3 classes that I am taking. I have historically taken 4 classes. That's usually more my vibe, but I thought senior year, let's slow it down, focus on the future, jobs, all that good stuff. And yeah, now I want to know what kinds of classes you guys are taking, because so many of you guys are either undergraduate students or graduate students. So tell me what you are learning about, because I would love to know. And let me know what videos you guys want to see in the future. I have have so many of your guys' requests written down, and I am working my way through them. Some of them take a lot of work and a lot of research, so don't think I have forgotten, because I haven't. It just takes some time. So continue to let me know what you guys want to see down below, and I will see everyone next Sunday. All right, you guys, bye.